Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Joe Palmer begins now.
Good evening, everyone. Those stories shortly, but first we have some breaking news tonight from the Huon Valley with confirmation of an incident involving a volunteer firefighting brigade. We cross straight to Michelle Wisby, who joins us live from Geeveston now. Good evening, Michelle. What's happened and are they okay?
Joe, as you said, we only learned about this just a few minutes ago now. Now, we have received confirmation that 2 volunteer members of the fire service have been injured in a truck rollover today. Now, we understand they were undertaking firefighting activities up Commandy River Road at Geeveston when the 4-wheel drive light tanker they were driving did roll over. Now, we know these 2 members were from the New Norfolk Volunteer Brigade. We know a man in his 30s was airlifted to the Royal Hobart Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, and a female in her 20s was also taken to the Royal with only minor injuries. We know their family have been notified and offered support. Now, once again today, we have been out and about in the Huon Valley on the fire ground here, and once again it has really showed us what sort of impact this fire is having on communities and structures all around here. Let's have a closer look at that now. A sad sight, the burnt remains of the Huon Forest Airwalk. Crews working hard around the clock to save not just this airwalk but the pristine land around it.
The fire crews that worked here and from all the agencies were really disappointed. No one likes to see beautiful forest lost.
Luckily, the visitor centre and other structures around it saved. The owner already planning on opening the site again in the future.
From what I have seen today, that the vast majority of the infrastructure is still in place. We know there'll have to be structural assessments on the steelworks, particularly of the airwalk and the bridges and the hang glider.
Once they're through the process of assisting staff, assessing the damage, we can get on with the job of repairing and supporting them and supporting the broader local economy.
These satellite pictures taken yesterday show the extent of the situation in the Huon Valley. Piercing through the smoke, you can see the fire dotted on the landscape, lurching towards towns. Today, the weather was a lot cooler and even some showers through the morning. Winds changing direction overnight, pushing the fire front into a more northeasterly direction towards the towns of Glen Huon, Judbury and Lonavale. But crews say it was more manageable today.
We're actually making some significant progress as the fire comes down out of the bushland and into the grassed paddocks. Firefighters are able to undertake active suppression activities.
With the weather change, several towns, including Franklin, Waterloo, Glendevie and Police Point, had their fire alert levels downgraded this afternoon. But authorities are urging people not to become complacent, with worsening conditions coming, especially on Sunday.
Make no mistake, fire still poses a risk to communities. We're expecting another challenging day on Sunday. So we're working to shore up the containment lines that we've got in place already. Another
big concern is a lack of water, especially in Geeveston. The council urging residents around the Huon to avoid any non-essential water usage.
If we can't actually reduce the water consumption, we run the risk of running out of water. And last night there were some parts of Geeveston that did not have water.
And we thank Michelle Wisby for that report. Well, tales of survival are emerging from those living at ground zero of the Central Plateau fires. Relief is finally in sight for firefighters, farmers and shack owners, with hope the worst of the blaze is now behind them.
Exhausted and at breaking point.
We haven't seen our baby since Friday. He's 7 months old. He's with my mum at the moment.
It's easy to see why. More than a dozen family and friends banding together to defend homes and livestock.
You see the dozer coming for you, mate?
Just one day and 20 millimetres rain later, it's hard to imagine how close they came to losing everything.
It's their livelihood, it's their home, and yeah, it means the world to us.
It was just a hard one with the wind. It just kept jumping containing lines, and yeah, it was just a struggle, really.
The relief in the weather almost too overwhelming after a week on high alert.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Yesterday, the helicopters were almost over the house. Today, they were hovering in the distance. Smouldering fires still remain nearby. The tractor still delivering the water where it's needed. Firefighters say it's efforts like this that have made their job easier and have helped save farms throughout the Central Highlands.
And they've played a massive part in this with the local intelligence to be able to put control lines in strategic locations, utilise the local assets that are here to actually minimise the spread of the fire.
At least a dozen buildings have been saved. The job now is to consolidate containment lines and douse the hotspots. The blaze has charred 50,000 hectares across the Central Plateau.
We do hope the worst is over. As I said, today is the start of a chance for us to try and get the upper hand on this fire. But we just do need to maintain the vigilance of the community around. We're still in a watch and act for a lot of the areas here.
Katie Nichols still isn't sure when she'll see her son.
I don't know, hopefully tonight, but as you know, the road is blocked, so if we leave then we can't come back in. But we don't want to bring him home until everything is safe.
Hopefully soon. Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
Meanwhile, another fire sparked up in a new part of the state this afternoon. Crews responded to a vegetation fire near Bridport, with the area placed on a watch and act alert by the TFS before it was downgraded to advice later today. The cause of the fire remains under investigation. And police are calling for witnesses who may have seen a vehicle in the area of Highland Road at Murdunna yesterday morning. They've officially declared a bushfire that started there deliberately lit. Information can be passed on to Crime Stoppers anonymously. While some fires have been downgraded, there is still hundreds of people displaced tonight. In the Huon Valley, services are providing families with vital support during this incredibly trying time.
Preparing lunch for the masses, the Salvation Army providing support to a community in turmoil.
We do the things that we can to help them relieve some of that trauma, I suppose.
The organisation, one of many, offering support here in the Huon Valley.
Everyone has rallied and helped, and the amount of volunteers that have come is just phenomenal.
This evacuation centre, a home for almost 700 people last night, all who've been displaced by Mother Nature's fury.
The PCYC, fortunately, is really set up very well for families and particularly for children, so there's lots of activities here to keep them amused.
Geefston resident Huon Berry has been here with her husband and son since Friday. Because of the erratic nature of the fire burning close to her property, she doesn't know when they'll be able to safely return to their home, if at all.
We're not really expecting to have a house when we go back from the direction that the fire's coming.
The Red Cross is encouraging all people who have been forced to leave to register with them online or in person to ensure that they know they're safe and well.
And obviously the police and emergency services use the service so that if a house is affected, they know that no one's missing.
That displacement is a story shared by hundreds from the Huon Valley and familiar to those evacuated from their homes due to the West Coast and Central Highland fires. As the anxiety rises, the local doctor is helping care for those impacted.
Of course, a lot of people are feeling quite anxious and distressed, and in fact we're finding that more and more as time goes on.
While the fires continue to burn, authorities have appointed a recovery coordinator, the same person who helped the communities of Dunalley after the 2013 bushfires.
One of the things we've learnt, as the Premier said, is the recovery starts before the danger passes, so it starts now.
St Vincent de Paul has launched its 2019 Tasmania bushfire appeal. With so much help available, authorities are reminding people to only donate to official sources.
A lot of generous, caring Tasmanians want to do their bit to help, but it needs to be done carefully. It needs to be coordinated through the appropriate channel.
And while the unrest continues, the community is banding together in Tasmanian spirit, settling in for what could be a long wait. Louise Hedger, 7 Tasmania News.
To the day's other news, and a Bicheno Wildlife Group says more penguins have been killed in a suspected dog attack just a day after a community meeting about the problem. 4 dead penguins were found in Warbs Bay this morning by a shack owner on an early morning walk. The group, Earth Ocean Network, says the deaths highlight the need for urgent action. 45 penguins died in a dog attack in November last year. New research has been released showing a staggering 14% of parents in Tasmania don't know what meningococcal disease is. The findings have left local medical professionals concerned following last year's deadly outbreak.
Erica Burley is a survivor. The Tasmanian was struck down with meningococcal at just 17, leaving her legally blind. She initially went to the doctor with what was just thought to be a severe case of the flu.
They sat me up to see whether I would be okay to go home, whether I'd built up some strength. And when they let go of me, I fell into a coma. So 3 days later, I woke up from that coma and couldn't see at all, so everything was just black.
But the disease had killed the optic nerve in her eyes.
So I've only got about 1% vision in this eye and about 10 to 20% in my other eye.
In just days, her entire life had changed forever.
Really scary, yeah, I didn't know what to do with my life. I thought, how could this happen to me? Within 24 hours of waking up, I was in hospital in a coma. You know, and the doctor said to my parents, she probably won't survive.
Years on, she's now working full-time and is an advocate for awareness, eager to do all she can to make sure her story isn't repeated. It comes as new research reveals 14% of Tasmanians don't even know what meningococcal disease is. What's more, those that do aren't aware there's different strains and that one vaccination doesn't fit all.
And there are two different vaccinations, one which covers the ACWY, which is funded nationally for children at 12 months, and in Tasmania at this stage for all children under 21. There's also another vaccination for the B strain, which is not government funded at this stage.
Last year there were 10 confirmed cases of meningococcal disease here. One was fatal. And with children heading back to school next week, the reminder for families to check their vaccination status couldn't be more timely. Jessica Moran, 7 Tasmania News.
The 10 Days on the Island Festival has been launched for another year, with organisers hoping it will attract visitors from across Australia and abroad. The biannual event featuring 89 performances and 74 days of exhibitions in a variety of venues across Tasmania. The event aims to showcase local and international artworks, family-friendly events, captivating theatre and thought-provoking exhibitions. A full program is available online, with all the action kicking off on March the 8th.
The Hobart Hurricanes will look to continue their hot run of form in their second and final game in Launceston tonight. We cross live now to Tom Johnson, who is at the ground. And Tom, the Canes can lock in top spot on the ladder with a win tonight.
They certainly can, Tom, and what a side to do it against. They're up against last year's winner, the Adelaide Strikers, but this time it's the Hurricanes in the box seat. They've had 9 wins so far this season. The Strikers, well, the wheels have fallen off them a little bit. They've only managed 4 wins so far. Now, the gates opened here at UTAS Stadium a short time ago. We are expecting a huge crowd here tonight. Thousands will pack the stands and cheer on the Canes as they go for their 10th win of the season. Now, one change tonight, Tom Rogers is in. Riley Meredith, he's feeling a bit crook, so he's been left out of the squad for tonight's clash. Now, a short time ago, I caught up with Tasmanian cricket legend Ricky Ponting, and we spoke about cricket in Launceston and his thoughts on the Cane Train's form so far this season. So, Ricky, we've seen the Canes dominate the competition so far this year. What would you say is the side's X factor?
I think their opening partnerships, whether it be with the bat or with the ball, has been what sort of differentiated them between the other teams. You have a look at what they've done in the batting power play, Darcy Short and Matthew Wade. It's been unbelievable. They haven't lost many wickets. The strike rate's been really high. They've got the team off to some really good starts. And then with the ball, they've been the same. They've been able to restrict opposition teams with the ball and take wickets in the power play. You know, they're a really well-balanced side. They've got all bases covered. They've got lots of experience. They've got a bit of youth coming through as well, which you always like to see in any team that you play in. So far, they've been the dominant team. They've just got to finish the tournament off really well.
Is there one player in particular which excites you the most?
Oh, Darcy Short, no doubt. I mean, he's done it again this year. You know, it's not an easy thing to be a consistent run maker in T20 cricket, especially as an opening batsman, because you're expected to go out and play shots from the first ball to get the team off to a flying start. And for about 4 seasons in a row, he's done that. So he's been brilliant once again. And I think Matthew Wade's captaincy and the way he's gone about that opening partnership with Darcy has been pretty impressive as well.
Yeah, I would agree. And to have grown up playing on grounds next door to this great arena, what's it mean to you to be seeing more Big Bash cricket coming to Launceston?
Yeah, I never thought we'd have any sort of high-level cricket here at UTAS Stadium, to be honest, or York Park as it used to be when I was growing up here. I spent most of my time at the back, obviously, on the cricket ground. I used to come here and watch my mates play footy with the Northern Bombers here. So, but the last couple of seasons, to come down for these Big Bash games has been unbelievable. You know, I'm obviously very proud coming back every time I get an opportunity to, and to sit in the commentary box and see so many people turn out and support the Hurricanes has been awesome.
Yeah, pleasure to chat. Thanks, Ricky.
Great, mate. Thanks.
Yeah, Ricky telling me he's very excited to be back in his hometown calling tonight's game. And those who can't make it down, Tom, you can catch it live and free right after the news. Back to you.
The tennis and Hobart's Harry Bouchier has crashed out of this year's Launceston International, going down in straight sets to top seed Lloyd Harris. Meanwhile, in the women's, Laura Siegman was left disappointed, with Russia's Alana Rybakina taking out the round 2 clash 6-3, 4-6, 6-3.
Taking on the women's top seed was never going to be easy, but 19-year-old Alana Rybakina gave it her all. Up against Launceston's windy conditions, she took out the first set but lost her way in the second. Returning with force though in the third, taking out the game 2-1.
I know that everyone here is so good, and so I just try to do my best, and yes, I'm happy that I did it.
Also taking to the court, Australian Arena Rodionova. She took on 16-year-old Leyla Fernandez, who put up a fair fight, but ultimately the Aussie was too strong, claiming the game 6-3, 1-6, 7-5. But the real blow for Tasmania was seeing Harry Bouchier go down in straight sets to number 1 seed Lloyd Harris. In just under 47 minutes, Harris had the match, 6-3, 6-3. Tomorrow we'll see all the quarterfinals actions, with finals set for the weekend.
Some of the seeds have been beaten today, the number 1 ladies seed as well, but it just shows the depth of the field that we've got a lot of good talent here.
Jessica Moran, 7 Tasmania News.
The state's best soccer teams outside of the NPL will get their chance to chase Lacca Seljack Cup success with the qualifying rounds drawn today. Ulverston and Launceston United travelling south to take on Beachside and Metro. Coastal rivals Burnie take on Somerset, with North Launceston making their Lacco Cup debut against Taroona. In the final 2 matches, Newtown hosts University, with Nelson to take on South East United.
Good evening. Hobart saw a 12-degree drop in temperature from yesterday, just 17 today. Launceston 22, Burnie 20 and Devonport 21. A few quick, heavy falls of rain last night as the front brought the thunderbolts and lightning, very, very frightening me. Interlaken had 32 millimetres with 21 at Hummocky Hills. St Helens and Friendly Beaches 21 degrees, Lowhead 20, King Island 19, Ooze 18, Grove and Strawn 17. Low convective cloud covered the entire state today as the front moved off to the east. You can see the unstable air over Tasmania. And that unstable air is over our region and the Bight. Another cold front south of Western Australia. The monsoon trough has the cloud over Northern Australia and a trough generating cover over the eastern states. Tomorrow a ridge of high pressure moves our way. A low pressure trough extends over the eastern states and more activity over the tropics as well. Winds west to southwesterly at 10 to 20 knots, reaching 15 to 25 knots over the south early. Winds will ease and become more variable during the day. Tomorrow's forecast, partly cloudy for Hobart, 21 the top, Huonville, smoky and 22, 23 for Campania. Launceston will see a top of 23 degrees and partly cloudy after 7 overnight, a cool one, 21 for Devonport, bit of cloud for Georgetown and 21 degrees. Burnie, fine and mostly sunny, 21 the top, 19 the high for Strawn, a bit of cloud about, mostly sunny for Wynyard and 21 degrees. And for St Helens tomorrow, partly cloudy and 20 also for Swansea, Port Arthur a top of 21. UV, very high to extreme across the state. On Saturday, fine and mostly sunny, just the chance of a shower over the north and the higher ground in the north. A fine start to Sunday and warming up again before a late shower develops, mainly over the east. And on Monday, partly cloudy with an early shower over the southwest and a drizzle patch over the northeast later. Sunny in Perth tomorrow along with Adelaide. Melbourne fine as well. A shower forecast for Sydney, partly cloudy in Brisbane and 32 degrees. A storm likely for Darwin. Current conditions, sunny in Hobart and 17, Launceston okay as well and 19 degrees, Devonport sunny and 18. And Joe, that's good cricket weather, and after the performance tonight of the Hurricanes, I reckon we should give them a big hand.
What a lovely big hand, I could use that. All right, thank you very much, Murph. That's all from the team for now. Have a lovely evening. See you a bit later. Bye-bye.